Hello, this is Jonas from Katatonia. You're listening to the mixtape on Radio Fremantle. I think I had written half of the lyrics and the vocals. They were in Swedish, and my first thought was, so I had to write English now instead, because I thought it sounded really beautiful having it sung in Swedish. I would like to teach myself that there is other stuff that's as dark and atmospheric as the stuff that I was listening to, and so that, because that song is it's like a world in itself. It's so good.
This is the Mixtape Podcast. I am your host, Mark. If you enjoy this week's episode, please feel free to rate it 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find over 140 archive episodes just by visiting the mixtapepodcast.com. And there you will also find the link to my Mixcloud. On the Mixcloud channel, you can also hear the music that my guests pick for their mixtape. Also on the website are my social media links and YouTube channel. You can find all of that good stuff at the mixtapepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this week's mixtape. And today on the show, it is an absolute pleasure to welcome Jonas from Katatonia. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show and making the time. Really, really appreciate it. So we're going to talk about your Australian tour, touring your new album, Nightmares, as an extension of The Waking State. Let's talk tour dates first. So I won't run through them all, but it's the usual suspect. Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, and finishing up in Perth on the 11th of October. Magnet House. It's metropolistouring.com for tickets and info for that one. Just first question on the tour, Jonas. When you come to Australia, like how do you find an Australian audience, like in comparison to other audiences you play to around the world?
Well, I think Australian crowd is always great, very lively, a lot of good energy. That's my general recollection from playing Australia many times, and it's a beautiful place to go to. I mean, it's very exotic for us to come there, and it's always a great experience.
Yeah. And when you come to Australia, do you get out and about much? Do you get like to do much sightseeing, or you pretty much just sound check, travel, sound check, show? Do you know what I mean? Is that how it works?
That's pretty much how it works, unfortunately, because I would love to come out and see more stuff, but we always try to at least have a walk around town where we play, and try some nice restaurants and stuff, and try to indulge as much as we have time to do, basically.
Yeah. And there's so much traveling as well between shows. Like that takes up most of the spare time, I would imagine.
No, exactly. That's the problem, because we usually have to fly pretty early to make it to the next day's show. So there's not much time to really, sort of dig into what Australia has to offer. But we try as much as we can, at least.
Yeah. Let's talk about your latest album, Nightmares as an extension of The Waking State. First of all, it's quite a long title. Where did you get the title from? What inspired that, mate?
I was trying to come up with something that I thought represented the album as good as possible, and it struck me that every song, lyric-wise, sort of had a theme or a topic that could be considered a nightmare, but also it's stuff that happens to us in real life. So that sort of gave me the title, because it's basically dark stories from real life, but obviously you can see them as nightmares because they're sort of negative, and so that's how I came up with it.
And were you sort of one of those people who sort of, do you keep a pen and a pad sort of like by the bed, and when you wake up, if you've had a dream or a nightmare, do you like, scribble stuff down, or do you find it quite easy to remember, or not at all?
No, I mean, I would love to do that, but I never do. I always think that I'm gonna remember it, but then usually I don't. So, but I'm usually too tired to start writing in the middle of the night.
I remember hearing a story once about Keith Richards dreamt the riff to Satisfaction and he woke up in the middle of the night and he got a little tape recorder out and played the riff, and then he woke up in the morning with absolutely no memory of it, just this riff on the cassette tape that was by the side of
That's
the bed.
great.
So I know, yeah, what
Yeah.
an amazing story. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And with the creative process with Katatonia, Jonas, is it you're the main songwriter, right? Is that how it was on this album, or is it more sort of collaborative, or do you just are you the one who writes the songs and you sort of present them to the band? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. I do write the songs and work on them until I think they're representable to send out to the other guys, and then I obviously value their input very much. So we go back, do a little bit of changes here and there. Maybe it's different from different songs, really, from time to time. So, but I usually that's how I'd like to work, because I guess I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to music. So I want to present something that's already in my mind a complete song, and then we take it from there and see what they want to add. Their personal touch is very important, of course.
Yeah, sure. Has that always been the way? Like, since has your process sort of evolved or changed since sort of like when would it have been, early 90s when you first started putting out records? Has that always been the way you do it, or has it changed at all?
No, it was different back then. It was more collaborative. This, I think, the way we're working now, sort of started maybe 15 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, okay. And I wanted to talk about one of the tracks on the album that sort of stood out to me, and you have to forgive me, Jonas, because my Swedish is nowhere near as good as your English. Is it If the Solen? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, after Solen.
After Solen. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
After the Sun. I looked it up
Yes.
so I could find out what it means in English. You sing that one in Swedish. First of all, why did you choose to sing that one in Swedish? And yeah, I love that track. It's got such a really sort of atmospheric, sort of moody vibe. I really, really like that one. Yeah, so why did you choose to sing that one in Swedish? And yeah, how did that song come about? And tell us a little bit about that track.
It has a bit of a different background story than the rest of the songs, because this is a song I started writing together with a friend of mine who's not in the band, but he's a great songwriter as well. So, and we started working on songs together just for fun. This is maybe 10 years ago, I think we started working on this particular track, but we forgot about it. And I sort of found the idea, the sketch that we had done during my writing session for this record. And I just listened back to it and I thought, wow, this is so great. I can't really understand how we could forget about this. Mm-hmm. And I got in touch with him. Joachim Karlsson is his name. And I said, we really should work more on this song. But right now I'm doing the Katatonia album, so it has to wait. But then it struck me that maybe this could actually end up on the Katatonia record. And I think I had written half of the lyrics and the vocals already on the sketch that we had, and they were in Swedish. And my first thought was, oh, so I had to write English now instead. But then I said, because I thought it sounded really beautiful having it sung in Swedish, so I decided to keep it that way. And I think people outside Sweden might think it's a bit exotic and nice to listen to our mother tongue.
Yeah, no, it sounds fantastic, and I think that's the joy of music is it doesn't matter what language you're singing in, it sounds beautiful, and that's all that matters. Do you know what I mean? I just got the feeling from that song here. It's an amazing track. I really, really enjoyed that one. Talking to you as well, Jonas, about vinyl bundles. You got some cracking vinyl bundles on the website katatonia.com. Brown vinyl, t-shirts, really well priced for Australian audiences as well. But you do need to go there and pay the postage. And first question is, are you much of a vinyl collector yourself, Jonas?
I'm not. I used to be, but for some reason back in late 90s, I sold all my records. And after that, I haven't started collecting again. But I used to be avid record, not, I wouldn't say avid maybe, but I loved my vinyls. They had a certain place in my heart, but right now I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, obviously you probably picked up from the accent, I'm English, and I sold all my records and CDs and everything before I came to live in Australia. And
that was like 15 years ago, and I've only in the last sort of 5 years started rebuilding from scratch again. Yeah, so that's a big process. Will you be bringing vinyl to Australia for the merch stand, Jonas, or will you not be bringing any?
I don't know. I mean, usually that's not up to me. It's the record label or our management have to decide for those things. So right now I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Mixtape.
The Mixtape is brought to you in association with Giglist. Giglist is your one-stop shop for all your live events. If you're looking to get out and experience some live music, you can filter by artist, venue, suburb or date. If you are an artist, it will take you less than a minute to list your gig for free on the website. The Mixtape brought to you in association with Giglist. Gigs in a list.
Okay, let's talk about your mixtape track choices then, Jonas. So, as you know, the show's called The Mixtape, and when I get guests like yourself on as a way of exploring your influences and inspirations, I ask you to pick some songs for an imaginary mixtape, and we'll play the songs out on the radio show, and we'll have a bit of a chat about each one as well. So, track one of your mixtape, Jonas, is an attention grabber. What's a song you would put on your mixtape to grab attention straight off the bat, mate?
That would be the song Sacrificial Suicide by Deicide.
Okay. And what makes that an attention grabber for you?
Because it's so intense, and it's very, it definitely brings attention to it. I think most people would go like, if they hadn't heard a band before, they would go like, what the fuck is this, It's so aggressive and it's so openly satanic, and, it's fun in a way as well. So that would be my attention-grabbing song.
And track two, Jonas, of your mixtape. What's a song that you like to sing if you're driving around in the car or you're in the shower? What do you like to sing?
This is weird because I don't drive, so I don't sing in cars very much, but I do have a song that always comes to me when I'm showering and I'm singing it, and it's always the same song. And it's by a British artist, Ben Christophers. He made a couple of beautiful albums in the late 90s, I think. And the song is called It's Been a Beautiful Day. And for some reason, that's the only song that I can think of when I'm showering, and I sing it.
Track three, Jonas, is a cover version. Pick a cover version to put on your mixtape, mate. What would you go with there?
It has to be Tori Amos covering Slayer, Raining Blood, because I think it's a beautiful rendition of a song that I already love. And this version is just so different from the original, but it still captures the same sort of dreadful, spooky atmosphere.
Yeah, you've answered the follow-up question already there, which the normal follow-up question is that is what makes a good cover version for you, but you've nailed it there in your answer. When you said Tori Amos, I thought you were going to say Smells Like Teen Spirit, because that's been picked a few times on the show. Her cover version of that's amazing as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Slayer cover that she does is incredible. And the biggest buzz I get is when I see artists like Tori Amos covering songs so far outside of her own genre.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's and I think when you break a song down like that, it doesn't matter the genre. It just breaks it down to chords and melody or whatever. And it's still a great song, and then that's a sign of a fantastically written song, I think, for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, great one, great choice, mate. Great choice.
Thank you.
Track 4, Jonas, is if you were wanting to play a song to your 18-year-old self, what would you pick for that, mate?
I had to think quite hard on this one, but because when I was 18, I was I was only into like super extreme metal, death metal all the way. So I picked Radiohead Pyramid Song, because I would like to teach myself that there is other stuff that's as dark and atmospheric as the stuff that I was listening to and was thinking of as, this is the only way to go. And so because that song is it's like a world in itself. It's so good. It's so exciting to listen to, but it still also have that sort of spooky atmosphere, sort of.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think the best description of that album, Kid A, which what that song comes from, was given to me when someone else, I think someone picked Idiotic for that off that album, and we talked about how do you follow up an album like OK Computer, and the answer is you don't even try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just take a complete, turn, wherever, and I think they did an amazing job with that record. I think that's such an underrated Radiohead. Absolutely love Kid A. It's superb. Some great tracks on there.
Yes, definitely.
All right, track 5, Jonas, is if you were making a mixtape for a romantic interest, you're trying to let someone know you're sort of interested and keen on them, what song would you use on your mixtape for that, mate?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs, so it would represent me very much. It's a song that I've kept with me for, must be 25 years maybe. It's by the band Red House Painters, and the song is called Brockwell Park, and it's so beautiful. It's kind of, sad in a way, but it also have some sort of hope in there. So it would represent me very well for someone to get to know me,
Yeah. Once again, when you said Red House Painters, I was certain you were going to say Song for a Blue Guitar, because that is my absolute favourite Red House Painters track. I absolutely love that one. And Sunkill Moon come up on the show quite a lot. Mark Kozlak comes up on the show a lot. Yeah, great choice, mate. Yeah, I love a bit of Red House Painters. That was a fantastic one. All right, finally, mate, track 6 is a deep cut, an album track or a B-side that you feel was maybe a little bit underappreciated.
I have to go with an album track, and I was thinking a bit on this one as well. But for me, it's back to Radiohead, a song called Codex from I think Hail to the Thief album, if I'm not, because I think it's so beautiful, but it doesn't really get a lot of attention. That's just a feeling I have, because when I play it to people, they go like, "Oh, I never heard this song." So it's one that's, I think, a little bit under the radar from Radiohead, which is, it's one of my favorite bands. So I have to say that one.
Yeah, great choice. Radiohead come up on the show all the time and so popular. All right, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. I loved it.
Katatonia are coming to Australia, October 2026. A Magnet House in Perth for Perth people on the 11th, and it is metropolistouring.com for tickets and info. Safe travels down under, Jonas, and we'll see you when you get here. Thank you so much, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers,
bye.
Mate. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mixtape podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to the top of the page and rate it 5 stars, or give us a like or follow on social media at the Mixtape podcast and radio show. Don't forget, there's over 100 archive episodes just waiting to be discovered, and all you need to do is visit themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.